So I've never fully gotten on board with the flat earthers because it doesn't fully align with the Bible. That's why. Um, but I understand why they say what they do when they try to base it on the Bible. But I more think there's a middle ground because I believe there is a core of the earth, and it is where God restrains the wicked one, the prince of the power of this world. That's why I think that we like the millennial kingdom happen. Okay, so where does he restrain him? Because that's the first time. Then he gets rid of him in the abyss. So if you look at Earth, like, okay, the Earth, the bottom, I think it's round. It's like a sphere, but it's in water because everything was water before God created anything. It was chaotic, deep, deep water. And if you look at how deep the waters in the Arctic, the North, the Arctic Circle go, they go like, I think the deepest they say they go is like over almost 19,000 feet. Okay, there's a core there, okay? So to act like it's, there's a flat, no. So, but what's interesting, how I could see that God would release this one that's in the core, because we can't go to the core, it's too hot. We can't. No, I think the farthest people have drilled, what did I read, like 4,000 miles or something. They can't. Their tools would melt, everything would melt. And then when you look at the fact that the ocean or the water goes so deep in the Arctic Circle in some parts, as I said, it goes almost 19,000 feet. They believe the further you go down, even though it's water, it's in a chemical structure called ringwoodite. This is what ringwoodite looks like, and there's the chemical structure for it. So this holds water. And it's weird to me that it holds water when it's at the deepest part of the earth. It's so close to the core. And the core is where it's the hottest. They figure like 5,000 Celsius. Like nobody can go down there. Everything would melt. I mean, that would be the home of Lucifer, let's face it, okay? However, then you look at the earth's shape. I think it's round because God had chained him at the core of the earth. When he was thrown down, he took over at the core of the earth. He is the magnetic field, okay? And because the strongest of the magnetic field is in the core, yet nobody can get there. Here's the thing, it's easier for us to go into space than it is to go into the core of the earth. Just consider that, okay? Before you want to call me crazy. All right, it's easier for us to go to space than go to the core of the earth. But if you look at the earth like a sphere, but that half of it is in water, because then it would make sense with the Bible, because if you and the reason I'm going here is because if ringwoodite ever was released from its chemical structure, that would be more water than all the oceans in the world. Now, of course, the people that think they know so much would say, that's why we have to worry about global warming and the waters and the ice caps. It's like, yeah, because you don't have any faith. You don't seek God. This is why you're stupid. Okay? I mean, just saying, like at least, like if you're going to be science, could you at least try to learn to believe in God so maybe you could actually be right about some things? I'm just saying. Okay? So this being, the water being released in the core of the earth would be more water than if you added up all the oceans in the world. I think these diamond-like structures, they act like a barrier for the wicked one, the prince of this world, the prince of darkness. I mean, that's clearly, because what during the millennial kingdom, God has chained him. Where does he chain him? He would chain him in the core of the earth, okay? Then when he releases him, he's still going to stay in the core of the earth, okay? He's not, okay, because he controls the magnetic field. But at the very, very end, what you'd want to do is flush his ass out. I mean, that energy, whatever, however you want to look at it, okay? It was the one that was casted down with some of his friends. You know, the book of Jude talks about this, the ones that left their proper place of dwelling, but some were casted out. So these, see this is like the chemical structure, ringwoodite around, okay? So like in the core of the earth. So it really protects him. It really protects him. Because he wouldn't want to be forced out of there. Because forced out of there, you'd be flushed out of the earth, then you're in the abyss. You're in the forever endless abyss. And what would that be? That would be your waters that don't just go 19,000 feet. They go through the earth's core at that point and all the way, just nothing but endless. That would make sense with the Bible, by the way. So I was looking into this. In the Bible, the abyss is described as a place that is fundamentally different from the world of living. It is not just a hole, but a specific spiritual and physical dimension with several distinct characteristics that align perfectly with my hypothesis, I might add. The nature of the place, the bottomless, because, you know, it's called the bottomless pit for a reason. The word abyss literally means without a bottom, unfathomable. In the Old Testament, the abyss is linked to the Hebrew word Tehom, referring to the primordial, deep or chaotic waters that exist before God brought order to the world. Yes, Genesis 1:2 says this. It's all that existed was the waters and God's spirit over the waters. That's it. And the waters were dark and chaotic, no light, nothing. It is often described as being below or in the depths of the earth. Okay, so the physical link is below or in the depths of the earth. Psalm 71:20, suggesting a location deep beneath the earth's crust, similar to the mantle or core. So see, this would be like the mantle or core. So see how strange this is, okay? So here's where your ringwoodite, those diamond things I showed, that hold the water, that's where they would be. Okay? Then the wicked one, you know, is here. So if you just try to envision, because I would say this is all water. All of it water, really, if you think about it. Because God says above the firmament was the water above and below. Okay, I mean, water, so much water. So if you wanted to flush him from his habitat, then you would want that ringwoodite to be, its chemical structure be broken, thereby, you know, it'd be like a flood, but not on earth. It would be a flood of everything in the earth. I mean, not everything, but him. That wicked energy, along with its magnetic structure, and he would be flushed into the abyss. Yeah. So that's why I would say, like, this part, you could say all of it. Oh, look, because of the lights, it's like I'm making, forget it. I'm getting excited by doing this thing I think I'm doing with my fingers, but I'm not. It's because of my Christmas lights still up. Anyway, so it really, we're just there's water everywhere, okay? But when you're thinking of the earth, just consider that I think when people go to flat earth, I kind of understand it, but the earth has a core. So I still think it's round, it's just, much of it is in water, like everything, a lot of things. Because that makes sense then for the final, you know, where the wicked one spends his eternal. But if that water starts getting released, and this would also go with Luke 8:31 when Jesus encounters demons, the legions, and they beg him not to send them to the abyss.